and you hear the cry, no justice, no peace, you know this is where the action is. Our president and founder is the Reverend Dr. Al Sharpton. The chairman of our board is Reverend Dr. W. Franklin Richardson, senior pastor of Grace Baptist Church in Mount Vernon, New York. I'm attorney Michael Hardy. We will be with you throughout the broadcast this morning. We are so pleased to have with us today for our inspirational word segment, the Bishop Robert Butler. He's the senior pastor of the Glory Church in the great borough of Brooklyn. Of course, if it's Saturday, our musical director, Minister Tyrone Richardson, is here and ready to go, along with the Change Choir and Band. And if it's Saturday, our dear sister, Nancy Darlene Crawford, will be here to ask you what is on your mind. That's right. She wants to know what you're thinking about. You know, there's so much happening around the world, around the country, in the city, probably in your own home. Somebody might be driving you crazy, and it's on your mind, and you can share it with Sister Crawford this morning. You can just let her know what's on your mind. Now, if you've not had an opportunity to get to Nancy and let her know, you can still do so. You can email what's on your mind at nationalactionnetwork.net, or you can call 877-626-4651, and she will get it and share it with us. You want to know, we want to know what's on your mind. Of course, we're so pleased that you are all with us this morning, because if it's Saturday, brothers and sisters, this is where the action is. The Reverend Dr. Al Sharpton is on deck and getting ready to come to you. So you do want to call somebody and tell them the action is on the air. You know, during the rally every Saturday, we remind you that the NAN Youth Huddle will meet on Monday, May 6th, right here at the House of Justice Auditorium. Want you to spread the word and get into the action with our youngest and brightest, dreamers of today and leaders of tomorrow. For more information on the Youth Huddle experience, you can call us at 877-626-4651 or email nanyouthhuddle@gmail.com. Today's Saturday, 5 p.m. Tomorrow, Sunday, 5 p.m. You want to make sure that you're tuning in to MSNBC's Politics Nation with Al Sharpton. That's today's Saturday, 5 p.m. Tomorrow, Sunday, 5 p.m. You want to make sure that you're tuning in to MSNBC's Politics Nation with Al Sharpton. And like I said, brothers and sisters, we are here. This is Saturday. It's the Saturday Action Rally. We are ready to go. And right now, our Executive Vice President of the New York City chapter, Dr. Alvin Ponder, will be here to give you some more information. Let's give him a welcome.
Thank you, Attorney Hardy. Good morning, brothers and sisters, listeners and viewers, and thank you for tuning in to the Saturday Action Rally with the National Action Network. Here's some information to keep you in the know. Freedom to learn. National Action Network teamed up with the African American Policy Forum, AAPF, on Friday for not one, but 2 rallies in support of the right to learn and to stand up against widespread attempts to ban books and anti-racist information or anti-racist education. The Freedom to Learn DC rally and the Freedom to Learn New York City rally featured powerful speeches from civil rights leaders, including Nan's Ebony Riley, Senior Vice President of Policy and Strategy Partnerships. Students, parents, educators, and artists also addressed the demonstrators. In the nation's capital, The rally convened at the Library of Congress and marched all the way to the U.S. Supreme Court. And in New York City, people gathered at the Reverend T. Wendell Foster Recreation Center in the Bronx at a time when book bans are engulfing schools across the country. The Supreme Court itself dismantled affirmative action in higher education, and DEI programs are under attack everywhere. NAN has continued to lead the fight to preserve our history and to ensure that future generations can learn from the past and continue to right the wrongs. NAN was proud to work with Kimberly Crenshaw, co-founder and executive director of AAPF, as we fight for racial and social justice and the ability for all to further educate and empower themselves. Fight for DEI is only growing. On Thursday, for the 18th week in a row, that's 4.5 months, National Action Network convened its protest in support of diversity, equity, and inclusion. The DEI demonstration held outside the Midtown Manhattan office of hedge fund billionaire Bill Ackman, by the way, who was behind that vicious smear campaign against former Harvard President Claudine Gay, was the latest rally calling for the preservation of these vital programs and to push back against the national attempts to dismantle any notion of progress. Thursday's weekly picket followed Reverend Sharpton's call for students, listen, students across the country to continue to hold college administrators and elected officials who oppose DEI accountable. Last week, a rally in defense of DEI was held at the University of North Carolina, and similar demonstrations were held at the University of Louisville and the University of Texas. Dozens of students from the University of Alabama also rallied in the halls of the State House in Montgomery, Alabama, to oppose legislation that bans DEI initiatives throughout the state. NAN's DEI Thursdays have been held consistently for months now, including during his national convention, when Reverend Sharpton led a protest from the Sheraton New York Times Square Hotel straight over to the west side to Ackman's office. It was NAN's largest rally yet. During the convention itself, a powerful panel also focused on DEI in academia, featuring Dr. Michael Eric Dyson, Professor Kimberly Crenshaw, MSNBC's Stephanie Rule, and Dr. Alvin Tillery from this speaker's alma mater, Northwestern University, and others, to a packed audience. Diversifying Delaware's Court of Chancery. On Tuesday, Reverend Sharpton was in Wilmington, Delaware, to call on Governor John Carney to increase diversity on Delaware's Court of Chancery. All seats on the court are currently occupied by white individuals, and there will be an opening following the retirement announcement of Vice Chancellor Sam Glasscock II. Now, Reverend Sharpton, who joined gubernatorial candidates Matt Meyer and Colin O'Mara and others for a presser, demanded change without delay. Reverend Sharpton also encouraged residents to register to vote and participate in the political process. VP Harris keeps it real with Rev. Vice President Kamala Harris joined Reverend Sharpton last Friday on his nationally syndicated radio show, Keeping It Real, for an exclusive interview. During the course of the discussion, the Vice President announced her Economic Opportunity Tour to bring information and opportunities to underserved communities. The tour will deal with everything from home loans, banking, business opportunities, and much more. Reverend Sharpton said, I was absolutely gratified that the Vice President of the United States, Kamala Harris, came on my syndicated show for this big announcement. We will never close the racial wealth gap unless there is an intentional involvement of government at the highest level. And for this Vice President, the first woman and the first woman of color to be the first Vice President of the United States, to go on the ground on a grassroots tour around economic empowerment and closing the race gap is something that should not be ignored. VP Harris also delivered the keynote address at NAN's National Convention last year and has stood alongside our work to protect civil rights and pushing back against Supreme Court actions threatening voting rights, reproductive health care, and even affirmative action. Well, congrats to our rally broadcast producer, Dominique Sharpton. Reverend Sharpton and the entire National Action Network team congratulates Dominique and her best friend, Haley Steinbrenner Swindle, on Sharpton Swindle Productions' first ever Broadway production, billing on the musical Hell's Kitchen, now earning, listen, 13 Tony nominations. A new musical for 16-time Grammy Award winner Alicia Keys, Hell's Kitchen is a coming-of-age story about a 17-year-old girl in New York City full of fire, searching for freedom, passion, and her place in the world. Sharpton Swindle Productions was thrilled to be a part of this amazing show and their respective new titles as Tony Award nominated Broadway producers. It is just the beginning and what they have in store. Welcome to all of you who have tuned in and joined us also via live stream at www.nationalactionnetwork.net and also live by Facebook at the National Action Network. If this is your first time joining us and or if you're not a member of NAN, we welcome you to join NAN and invite you to join us and get into the action today. For more information and to join, you may visit, again, www.National Action Network. I just Google National Action Network, or you can call 877-626-4651. Again, that number is 877-626-4651, or just text the word NAN, N-A-N, to 59769. Welcome.
All right, thank you, Dr. Ponder, for those additional words. Right now, brothers and sisters, our dear sister Nancy Darlene Crawford is here. It's Saturday morning, and she wants to know what's on your mind. Good morning.
Good morning, National Action Network family, and welcome to another weekly segment of What's on Your Mind, where you, the membership base and community, let us know what's on your mind. Good morning. Tell us your name and briefly share one thought of what's on your mind.
Good day, everybody, and God bless everybody. My name is Sister Reverend Word. I'm from Heaven, born in Harlem, and I'm 72 years old and new, and I'm a National Action Network lifetime member. Of course, what's on my mind is Bible scriptures, and in particular, Christ Jesus is the begotten Son of God, and God created all people. So I respectfully say, in a level of proudness, National Action Network is full of intelligent, talented, beautiful, caring people. I've had the pleasure of meeting a lot of them. But I also know it's an indication that there's intelligent, talented, beautiful, caring people in the world. And the reason we have them is because of democracy. We only have the freedom to show ourselves in a democracy. We need to vote to keep this democracy so we can have more talented people, more intelligent people, more caring people, more loving people in this world. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you. Good morning. Tell us your name and briefly share one thought of what's on your mind.
I'm Dr. Frank Douglas from Basking Ridge, New Jersey. DEI is on my mind. I want to thank Reverend McHenry and Reverend Byrd, Mr. Carswell, and others. I'd like to let you know that the new committee to really advance equity and inclusion has been authorized. So now we have another plank helping dramatize, as we do every Thursday, our fighting back against the attacks on DEI. This committee will help those who have lost their DEI professionals. We will give them recommendations on how they can deal with their challenges. No justice, no peace.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Good morning. Tell us your name and briefly share one thought of what's on your mind.
Okay, my name is Donald Law. I'm with the Men's Auxiliary, and I'd like to thank my brothers and brother, Minister Al Sharpton, for allowing us to have a platform as men in this organization of National Action Network. And I'd like to especially thank the Women's Auxiliary, because they're a fine, beautiful example, and we're going to catch up with them pretty soon, because they are good, and they're very good as leaders and examples as what womanhood and having a sense of working together. And this is what we're coming about trying to do ourselves. And I want to thank the brothers that are coming back to the Men's Auxiliary, and they are coming back. And every time we get together, we're finding out the things that were and what they are becoming. We are looking forward to. That's all I got to say.
Great. Thank you so much for sharing that. And shout out to the Women's Auxiliary. Thank you for that. Thank you. Good morning. Tell us your name and briefly share one thought of what's on your mind.
Good morning. My name is Nadira El-Amin, and what's on my mind is about this Israeli Hamas issue. Demonstrations has always been part of our history in this country, and as a result, we should look at the fact that the policy is what we're really after. The policy that is being exhibited by the Israelis at this time needs to be adjusted, needs to be looked at, and the war needs to come to an end. Because I think when you look at all of the our history, when we had the Jews who were exterminated in the World War II, after that there was dialogue, there was trials, there was justice that was brought forth. They never bombed Germany, okay? They brought people to trial. And I think this is what we need to look. It's the policy. It's not hatred for Jewish people. It's hatred for their policy right now. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. And last but not least, tell us your name and briefly share one thought of what's on your mind.
Good morning, young lady. My name is Crystal. I want to first say, good morning, God. I want to give thanks to God for waking me up this morning and starting me on my way, for food in my refrigerator, clothes on my back, clothing in my right mind this morning, with the energy to get up. And I want to say one thing, even though you said one thought. We have to pray for our young people. There was a young lady stabbed in her chest. Her name is Emma. She lives up in the Bronx. We're losing too many of our people. And I don't care what we're not doing enough. We're walking around acting oblivious to what's going on. Our streets are filthy. I'm talking about black folks. We got to do better. We're going to have to come together and work out a strategy to fix this problem, because we are a nation of people. I don't care whether you're Islam, Christian, I don't care what you are. If your skin is like this, we're going to have to work a strategy out and figure out what we're going to do, because we're not going to be here. The shape of our children is ridiculous. They walking around smoking hookahs. They got reefers and cigarettes. They confused. When I was coming up last thing, your parents had control of you. Nobody sat us down and said, we're going to learn Respect 101. You knew it. Your grandparents lived over there. It was a treat to go visit them, et cetera, et cetera. We got to do better than what we're doing. Love y'all.
Love you too, my sister, and thank you for sharing that. And thank you to all of you that shared today. We want to remind you that all of the viewpoints heard here today are simply those of the contributors and do not reflect National Action Network. Thank you so much for tuning in. Back to you, Attorney Hardy.
All right, thank you, Sister Crawford, for this week's What's on Your Mind. As the men's auxiliary said, they're going to spread their wings. All right. Right now, brothers and sisters, our musical selection, our soloist, Tisha Hunter, the NAN Change Choir.
Good morning, everybody. Come on, clap your hands this morning. Open doors that I cannot see. Jesus will. Oh, Jesus will. Who opens doors? Say, who opens doors that I cannot see? Jesus will. Oh, Jesus will. Who will make all my decisions for me? Jesus. Oh, listen, when I'm in trouble, He gives me a song, and in the night season, and all the day, and who makes me do right when I went to wrong. Jesus will. I know He will. I'll sing that part one more time. Oh, when I'm in trouble.
that is our soloist, Tisha Hunter Nan Change Choir, under the direction of our musical director, Minister Tyrone Richardson. Right now, brothers and sisters, we're going to bring you in the house. In the house is all about the work of our committees that they do here at National Action Network and around the country. And the Men's Auxiliary, who said earlier they're going to spread their wings, Owen Rogers is here to talk about it right now. Let's give him a welcome.
Thank you, Brother Hardy. Good to have you back on your feet. The Men's Auxiliary of the National Action Network has been active here for more than a dozen years, doing what needs to be done under our basic motto, which is that we work in the community to uplift our people so that all may know justice and our children may know peace. Yeah. That's what we do. We do that in a lot of different ways, and the men of the National Action Network, all the men who might be listening to us on radio or TV today, are invited to join us. We're expecting that the members of the NAN Men's Auxiliary provide the example of a successful life in community and in family. Members are asked to provide service to NAN and to the larger community. Our members commit ourselves to working together to accomplish agreed-upon tasks that uplift us all. We don't ask a whole lot of you that you're not able to do. What we ask of the men who are here and those who may be listening is part of what you probably are already doing in different venues. We ask you to attend monthly meetings. We ask you to ensure that there is a male presence at all NAN events. We ask you to work on one of the committees of NAN or one of the committees of the Men's Auxiliary. We ask that you support the activities of NAN, particularly when we are doing demonstrations or fundraisers. Within the Men's Auxiliary, you are expected to pay monthly dues. You are expected to be a role model, particularly as we mentor young men. We ask the members of the Men's Auxiliary to share God-given skills and talents generously with our community. And we're asking that the men of the National Action Network Men's Auxiliary recognize, affirm, recruit, and train new leaders to continue our mission. Some of the things that we have done in the past, there is certainly the opportunity that we've had for luncheons and some of the social events. We've had forums on parenting and fatherhood. We've had forums additionally on surviving economic hard times and how some of us can step into the role of being providers. The Men's Auxiliary, ordinarily we're meeting on the second Saturday of each month here at the House of Justice after the rally. As we do all of this, we certainly ask you to participate with NAN as an example with the diversity, equity, and inclusion, the protests that we do on 11th Avenue. The Men's Auxiliary has been represented there. We also want to thank those people who were here last week, because we had a special program last week that was involved in helping people to understand what's happening with reparations in New York State. So thank you to those who were here last week. Particularly, we want to thank John, Gary, Brother Sudan, and certainly our chair, Brother Carswell. They helped put together a program that was exemplary, including bringing to us, and some of you may have missed it. If you did, you can talk to our chairman, Brother Griffin, about getting the videotapes. We had Reverend Daughtry, we had Cordell Clear, the state senator, we had Roger Wareham of the December 12th movement, we had Senator James Saunders, we had Linda Roots of NCOBRA, the National Committee for Black Reparations. We had Michelle Solage, the New York State Assembly member, Inez Dickens, the New York State Assembly member. These are some of the people, some of the big brains that came to spend some time with us. If you missed what they had to share, again, see if you can get a hold of the videotape. It is something that is critical that we do this. We are part of the fight for reparations. We are preparing our Juneteenth program right now, and we want to make sure that all the men of the National Action Network are invited to participate. We will be meeting here on Wednesday at 10 a.m. If you're free at that time to come join us. We also want to take a moment to rest in peace to Sister Trudy, who was here part of the National Action Network for many, many years. We had a couple of our members attend her funeral. As we continue the work to bring leadership to our community and to be exemplars, the National Action Network Men's Auxiliary is doing outreach. We thank you for your support, and we look forward to working with you going forward. Thank you.
Brothers and sisters, our musical director, Minister Tyrone Richardson.
That work is in you.
That is our musical director, Minister Tyrone Richardson, of course, the NAN Change Ensemble and the band. Hey, I just want to give one really quick clarification because I know Brother Owen Rogers said that Sister Trudy passed. He was referring to, just so we're clear, Roberta Corbett Trudy, which we refer to as Sister Trudy, not Trudy Grant, who's still with us, breathing. Right. For our inspirational work, the Bishop Robert Butler, Senior Pastor of the Glory Church in the great borough of Brooklyn. Let's welcome.
Good No Action Network. Just look over to you and say, I see your power. You said to the I see your power. Like that on a Saturday morning, y'all gonna make me think it's Sunday. And I'm gonna run around this building in a second. We want to give God praise for our founder and president, Reverend Dr. Al Sharpton. We also want to pay deference to our chairman on today, You've just said amen. Real quickly, the word of the Lord from the book of Matthew, chapter number 12, verse number 25 says, And Jesus knew their thoughts and said unto them, Every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation, and every city or house divided against itself shall not end. I don't want to subject to get it together. My brothers and my sisters, today as we gather to reflect on a truth that is relevant now as it was in the time of Jesus in the Gospel of Matthew, where he teaches us that every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation, and the city divided against itself will stand. This profound statement holds a key lesson for us as a community and as a people. Look at somebody and tell them we need to get it together. I propose to you today that we as a people have been stricken with a disease called division. So that disease has contaminated our, it has contaminated our churches. It has contaminated our communities. It has contaminated our neighborhoods. We have become so accustomed or so enamored by the thought and desire of being better than each other that we have ceased being better at all. As I walked through the Bedford-Stuyvesant community yesterday, I realized something that threw me for a loop. I saw beautiful buildings that have been built along Tompkins Avenue. I drove down Pulaski Street and saw beautiful buildings that were placed in empty lots. I saw beautiful buildings between Tompkins and Troop down to Nostrand and DeKalb, but the people that were coming in and out of these apartment buildings were those that I were used to seeing down near the Williamsburg Bridge. I asked myself, how did this happen? How is it possible that we who once lived where we lived are now being driven back to the site of slavery? Ain't nobody talking to me in here. Some of us have sold family treasures just to be better than the next person. And the truth of the matter is, it wasn't that anybody ran us out or put a gun to our head to kick us out. The fact of the matter is that we were so divided that when division was identified, we gave a doorway to individuals to come and take what belonged to us, belonged to our parents, belonged to our grandparents. Y'all ain't talking to me. Look at somebody and tell them we've got to get it together. We've got to get it together because this division has weakened our political power. Divisions within our community dilute our collective voice, voting power, making it harder to achieve political unity and influence necessary changes. This fragmented state of mind can lead to ineffective representation and less progress in our civil rights endeavors. Shake somebody and tell them we have to get it together. We've got to get it together in order for us to see less young people being stabbed in our communities. We have to get it together in order for us to see less of us at the public assistance office. We have to get it together in order to see more of us receiving better health care. We have to get it together in order to see more of us owning more businesses, taking over more schools, being in more law firms, sitting on more judges. We've got to get it together. The only reason why we are experiencing this level of defeat that we have been experiencing is because we are divided. We look good. We got on Gucci, but we paid Gucci to put somebody's white students through school. We look good. We got on Louis Vuitton, but we gave that to another culture. We look good, but we got on the finest of things, but I'm not next to my neighbor. Y'all ain't talking to me in here. Look at your neighbor and say, neighbor, we've got to get it together. So here's what Jesus was saying in the text. He said, if you want to know the answer to why we are so messed up, if you want to know the answer to why we are so broken, if you want to know the answer to why so many families are in distress, to why so many children are wayward, it is simply because the house is divided. And the house that is divided against itself will not stand. I need about 12 of y'all to just grab somebody by the hand and tell them it's time for us to stand. And in order for us to stand, we've got to get it together.
We want to thank our Bishop Robert Butler, Senior Pastor, the Glory Church of Brooklyn. Brothers and sisters, the Change Choir.
blessing me right now. The Lord is blessing me right now. 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 He woke me up. Starting me on my way. The Lord is blessing me. 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 The Lord. The Lord. The Lord blessing me. The Lord blessing me. The Lord blessing me. The Lord is blessing me. The Lord. 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 The Lord is. The Lord is blessing me. The Lord is blessing me. The Lord is blessing me right now.
That is the Change Choir under the direction of Minister Tyrone Richardson, accompanied by the Change Choir and the band. All right, get on your feet, because we're about to bring to you the president and founder of the National Action Network, the Reverend Dr. Al Sharpton.
No justice.
No peace.
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 What do we want?
Justice.
What do we want?
Justice.
What do we want?
Justice.
When do we want it?
Now.
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 Fist bump the person next to you. Tell him you love them.
as we look at our journey, and it has been a journey from being captives and enslaved all the way to where we are now. One of the reasons that I don't get despondent or discouraged is I think about how far we have come and have come to places no one ever thought we would be able to achieve. So every once in a while, a setback should not depress you. Because if you think of what those ahead of us had to go through and they persevered anyhow, it is beneath your own bloodline for you to give up now. I think about as we are looking at what is going on around the world and how I had uncles that were members of the military before I was born that had to sit in the back of the bus and couldn't sleep in the barracks with whites. That even though they were defending the country, they still were treated less than human. But now I look and see where if it is Ukraine or Gaza, they have to deal with a black man who's the Secretary of Defense, who's over the Pentagon. We went from the back of the bus to the head of the Pentagon. We didn't go there because he was that qualified and that super. He is that qualified, but we always been qualified. But it was some people that were on the ground that didn't have the background and the pedigree and the degrees. People like meet on Saturday morning in Harlem that opened the door for a man to be the Secretary of Defense. That's why we come together every Saturday morning saying, if we just keep on moving, no matter how dark the night, light will come after a while and our change will come.
Your change will come. Your change is gonna come. Don't you give up. Your change, just hang on in there. Your change is gonna come. Oh, change will come. Change will come. Change will come.
Some have said to me, and accurately so, that they have reversed in the last year some of the things that were gained in the civil rights movement and the women's rights movement. This new court stacked by Donald Trump says that affirmative action is wrong, outlawed it, took it out. Took out sections of the voting rights bill where it is almost unenforceable, and took out women's right to choose. But I'd say to people, yes, that's why we got to keep fighting. But Reverend, if we fight, it goes back and forward. The only reason they could change the law is because we fought and made it law in the first place. You act like we was born with these laws. We fought and shed blood for these laws. And you thought they wasn't going to fight back? If you watch a boxing match, you got a fool if one gets in the ring and throws punches and gets upset when somebody punch back. You don't worry about them punching back. You worry about you punching more and keep on scoring and keep on marching and keep on going, and your change will come.
Change will come. Your change is gonna come. I know it will. Your change will come. Your change is gonna come. Oh, change will. Oh, change will. Oh, your change will come. Your change. Just
Certainly, we're happy to be with you another Saturday morning for the Saturday Action Rally. For you that are here live at the House of Justice, 106 West 145th Street in the village of Harlem. And for you that are listening live on 1190 WLIB AM in New York, and for you that are watching us on various media platforms, we're happy to be with you another Saturday morning to give our report on where the action is. Give a hand to our presider, Attorney Michael Hardy. Our musical director, Minister Tyrone Richardson. And of course, give Chris and the band some. Certainly, let's give a big hand to Bishop Robert Butler, Glory Church. Let me say I want to join, it has been said in mourning the passing of Sister Roberta Corbett. Owen Rogers mentioned her this morning, Tootie. And as Attorney Hardy said, not Trudy, but Tootie. And we want Sister Corbett's family to know that they are in our prayers. Also the family of Donald Payne, former Congressman Donald Payne Jr. And Donald Payne Jr. Has been a real soldier and worked with us in the National Action Network and National Action Network, our National Action Network Newark Tech Center. And he was funeralized this week, and we want to give his family our best. I called on last week upon his death. I joined others in calling on the governor of New Jersey to call a special election. And I'm grateful and thankful that he has done so because we do not need the seat empty until next January. With all of the votes that are going on that affect our people and affect the people there in the 10th district in Newark, that seat needs to be filled, and it needs to be filled as soon as possible. And we don't need the machine, the Democratic machine, to choose who's going to win that seat. Let the people decide in the 10th district. So I'm very happy that he being Governor Phil Murphy, has given a notice that they're going to have a special election. And Reverend Steffi Bartley, our regional director of NAN and head of the NAN Tech Center, has been in the thick of that. Well, one of the things I tell people all the time, and particularly our young activists getting started, is that you can fight because you like fighting, or you can fight to get stuff done. You know, I'm convinced that a lot of folks just get caught up in the drama of fighting and don't consider what they're fighting for. When we called on a special election in Jersey, God called me 2 days after the governor called a special election, talking about we need to jump on the governor. I said, the governor announced a special election. Yeah, but I don't like his attitude. I said, oh, you just want to fight. Some folks just wake up in the morning mad. Let's welcome our Impact Television family watching all over the country. Some folk just wake up mad. They wake up and beat up the pillow. They mad at the pillow. And get mad and angry at the wrong focus. I was leaving a rally in Columbia, South Carolina, not long ago.
And a guy came over, and I was going to the car running to the airport. Guy came over and said, Reverend Al. I said, yeah. He said, I needed some help, and da-da-da-da. And we wrote you, and one of your people called. They never followed up. And I said, hold it a minute. What happened to you? Well, they put me away wrong. I said, did I put you away? He said, well, no. I said, any folk in the network put you away? He said, no. I said, so you want us to redress you, but you got an attitude with us? Why would I want to help you? Let's take the bass out your voice. You ain't deal with no punk. You came to me. I didn't come to you, and I ain't done nothing to you. But some people feel the things that they are after is secondary to how they react to what they're dealing with. Hello? Help me help you. And he calmed down and said, yeah, you're right. And he ended up being right about his case. He just had a wrong attitude. And it took a while, but we was able to help him get a lawyer and all down there. And we are trying to do our best to help him. Let me say that on tomorrow morning at 10:45, I'll be preaching at Mount Sinai United Christian Church in Staten Island, 15 Pike Street, out there in our sister's land. This is her territory, Sister Gwen Carr territory. Give her a hand. And I'm preaching for the birthday celebration of Bishop Victor Brown, who will be turning 60 years old. And he was one of the original board members of National Action Network, and I'm going to be with Bishop Victor Brown in the morning. And I told him, don't worry about joining me in our 60s, because you got an 81-year-old president and a 78 or 79-year-old contender. We still the youth division. If they can run the country at 80, we sure can do what we can do. A guy come to me the other day talking about, Reverend Al, I joined the organization because I want to be in line when you decide to step over or away. I said, who told you I was stepping away? You ought to be here to help me step forward. It ain't the right attitude to come join and hoping somebody keel over. I don't want somebody up here every Saturday checking my pulse. You ought to be here helping to fight the fight. If you fight the fight, you will earn your rank. Let me also congratulate those that participated yesterday in Freedom to Learn. Give yourselves a big hand. Big hand for those. Our sister Ebony, who is our senior vice president, Ebony Riley in Washington, she keynoted and spoke along with those there, and then Reverend McHenry, stand up. Don McHenry and Reverend Byrd spoke, and many of you were there in the Bronx for the New York gathering. And that was yesterday. The day after, you again for the, 17th? 18th week, picketed the offices of Bill Ackman. And we going strong every week. And I'm going to announce in a couple of weeks we going to have an expanded location. And Brother McHenry called me and told me that it's getting to them. They want to try to talk and all, but let's keep going. You don't stop until you win. Diversity, equity, and inclusion. If they are successful in eliminating that, then they will, and in some states they've already barred it. If they bar it and keep it barred, it stops the need to require contracts for blacks, to require that you have a certain amount of blacks and others in schools, and in certain places of government service. So DEI is a fight for you and I. This ain't some pie in the sky. And while we can fight at many fights at the same time. I was telling people I support the fight against what is going on in the Gaza. I think that it is a moral outrage what Netanyahu is doing. In fact, on my show this afternoon, I got a congressman, among other members of Congress, Congressman Nadler, who is Jewish, has attacked Netanyahu. And I think that what Netanyahu needs to be removed. But I also think we need to put focus on Haiti and on the Sudan. Let's not act like the only global crisis is in Ukraine and in Israel. There is a humanitarian crisis and has been for months right there in Haiti, right in the Sudan, where thousands of blacks have been displaced. So let's talk by one yardstick. And let me also add this. You must be careful, Reverend Butler, how you fight. I was telling some of the student leaders, I said on television, the right wing tried to go crazy, that I'm for all of what the students were doing nonviolently. But don't let them trick you into violence. Because then the objective of media is to cover the violence rather than cover the children that are starving and being killed in Gaza. You get in the way of your own message. Now, we come out of lineage. I was listening to Bishop Butler talking. We come out of a lineage of the King movement. When I was a kid, Martin Luther King came out against the war in Vietnam. But there were elements that would do things against the war violently. He said, no, we're not with that. Because you cannot use the wrong tactics to get to the right conclusion. And you better watch some of the folks that agitate you, because they may have been planted by the ones that want to switch your message. We used to call them provocateurs. We having a march and they all of a sudden come to the march talking about what they ain't gonna take. First of all, we ain't never seen you before. And second of all, you're gonna take a whole lot more. So be careful of being trained in a way and then you go against that training. And right wing, well, because let me tell you what they're trying to do. In the middle of this political season, let me tell you real clear. I want y'all to get this around the country, watch. They would love to say one of the great moral outrages of our lifetime was what they did January 6th at the Capitol. They would love on Fox News and other places to say, when they talk about violence, on January 6th, look at this. So they could try to counterbalance violence for violence. And Democrats got to be careful not to let them do that. Now, first of all, January 6th is not the same as what happened at Hamilton building at Columbia. They destroyed property and committed violence January 6th to overthrow an election. Be real clear. Them folk talked about bring out the vice president of the United States, we gonna hang them. Didn't nobody talk about hanging nobody at Columbia. Didn't nobody talk about jumping up in officers' faces. Now we find out an officer's gun went off. And why was that? And why was an officer's gun even out? when there was no threat. So you got to be able to watch the news and not react to the headline and deal with what is the whole story. But at the same time, don't fall into the trap. I remember I went out the other week. Reverend Stephen Marshall had me go last week to speak for the pastoral anniversary for Brother Williams, Bishop Williams, Overseer Williams. And I remember I was telling them in the car with me the story about Howard Beach, because a lot of the younger guys that rode with me wasn't even born when Howard Beach happened. And I said, when we come out here, and I showed them they still got the same pizzeria that they chased Michael Griffith and Cedric Sandifer before they caused Michael's death. And I said, and I remember when we were marching out here, that there was an element that always said they don't believe in marching. I'm talking about in the black community. We don't believe in marching. We don't believe in all that nonviolence. Then when we looked up, they were at the end of the line trying to provoke something. Well, if you don't believe in marching, don't come to the march. I don't break in your rally. I don't go nowhere I ain't invited. So you don't like what we doing, don't do it. Unless you're really trying to help the opposition. I saw a preacher the other day, Reverend Al, I know you're mad at me because I said some nice things about Trump. First of all, don't flatter yourself. I didn't know what you were saying. I know there's some folk go home and watch the videos, everybody's sermon. I don't watch nobody's video. I don't have no idea what you said. But if you said something nice about Trump, you got to give an account for that. You must be defensive because you brought it up. Thirdly, I knew you didn't have no good sense when I first met you. So I'm not surprised. Which is why you ain't never been to the House of Justice on the platform. Because I know you liable to say anything. Y'all know every once in a while I deviate. In Canton, Ohio, a 52-year-old black man named Frank Tyson got into a car situation, went into a nearby business, and they called the police. When the police came, there was verbal back and forth. They ended up throwing him to the ground, saying they wanted to arrest him, and put their knee on his neck and held him down there. It was 5 minutes before the paramedics came. And it sounded so much like George Floyd. And this man died, 52 years old, unarmed, in an argument around a car accident. That one policeman had been fired for stealing from a store he worked at. Lied in his application, or let me not say lie, he omitted telling them that he had been fired for thievery. And he's one of the officers that caused the death of Frank Tyson. Now, a lot of you have not heard about this case. I'm going to have a family member and attorney Ben Crump on Politics Nation today at 5 p.m. Eastern Time on MSNBC on my show today, along with Congressman Nadler on the other issues and others. But that is why we do media, to tell the story nationally. And that is why we're going to stand with this family. Because just like they had no right to have their knee on Eric Garner's neck and his mother sitting here, just like they had no right to hold Eric Garner in a chokehold Just like they had no right to put a knee on the neck of George Floyd, and this brother just walked in, giving him a big hand. They have no right to put their knee on anybody's neck. I don't care what the circumstances was. An unarmed man is no contest for two armed policemen. It is the disregard of human life that gives them the arrogance to think that they can do what they want to do. So this Wednesday, I'll be in Canton, Ohio to preach his funeral, and we are going to stand with the family of Frank Tyson. Give the Tyson family one of the things we always get confused about is you can't go by what's trending. You know, young folk got a thing now called trending. They go by what is trending on social media. And that is where they put their interest. But we as a movement don't go by trending, we set trending. We make the trend. So people talk about, well, they ain't talking about police brutality no more. They talking about Ukraine. They talking about Gaza. They wasn't talking about police brutality when we started George Floyd. We made them talk about it. They wasn't talking about Eric Garner. We made them talk about it. Dr. King used to say there are two types of leaders. There are thermometers and there are thermostats. Thermometers measure the temperature in the room. Thermostats change the temperature in the room. We are a thermostat organization. We turn up the heat until you start sweating and dealing with the issues that you and I did not hear out there. That's what we do. That's why I said at George Floyd's funeral, people get mad at me. Reverend Al always out there making noise out there in the media trying to get attention. That's exactly what I'm trying to get. You didn't misunderstand what I was doing. Don't nobody come to me to keep a secret. They come because they want us to make it known. And we have organized that around the country. Ashley, my youngest daughter, and Huddle, Brother Christian, out in Sacramento right now, the Sacramento chapter, done had 3 days. Reverend Porter, Reverend Decoy Porter, who heads our Sacramento branch. We got real chapters with real folk all over the country, and all of them are putting light in dark places. We come out of our convention committed to, we're dealing with voting rights, we're dealing with criminal justice reform, the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act, and you that were at the convention heard President Biden's speech. He mentioned that we must get that through. And of course, we're dealing with economic empowerment, which is saving DEI and dealing with black contracts and jobs. Those three things we coming out with, and we setting timetables. Every 90 days, what have we done? So 90 days after the convention right here, I'm going to put up, what have we done? Have it be accountable. If you got organizations that you don't know where they at and what they doing and what is the accountability, you ain't got no organization. You just got you and some friends hanging out together. That's why we have every Saturday morning what's going on in the network, in the house. Because we do a lot of stuff. I mean, we got Danny and them here that don't do much of nothing, but I'm talking about most of us. Good morning, Danny. Why'd I call Tony Danny? Oh, because he got that Danny DeVito look on his face. Tony, stand up, Tony. That's the head of, he's the head of I Just Show Up on Saturday Morning committee. No, he's a good brother. But what I'm saying is that many times we have paper organizations with no real people. Yet they want to speak for the masses that they never spoke to. Now, let me bring that forward. The same is true, Bishop, in the church world. You cannot put up a sign, Reverend, calling your church a church for soul saving, and you ain't saved no soul. Take the sign down and say this is where we just gather every week to do whatever we feel like doing, because you're not trying to save nobody. You're a performing preacher, not a prophetic preacher. You've developed your skills in the pulpit, but have not cared for our people. Jesus said, if you love me, feed my sheep. He didn't say learn how to hoop. He didn't say learn how to pull it. He didn't say learn how to spin around. Feed my sheep. I get real frustrated when young preachers come to me and say, Reverend, how did you develop your preacher style? Why don't you ask me how I learned how to serve? How I learned how to organize. How I learned how to deal with adversity. Because you're going to have adversity. You're going to have criticism. And you need to be trained in that. I grew up being taught that you're going to be attacked. Why? Because you're attacking somebody. So when they attack me, I'm not at all rattled. I expected that. Because I was trained. That's why they don't send soldiers to war without going to boot camp. Because you got to learn. That's why boxers have to train before they get in the ring. I remember Muhammad Ali was real, very open to me. And I used to go down. At one point, he had a training camp in Bishop Butler down in Deer Lake, Pennsylvania. And I never forget, I was down there and he had about 4 or 5 log cabins and log cabin, his guests would stay. I was there, he had a main when he'd stay. But one of the cabins was his training place, the gym. And they had a boxing ring, about 2 or 3, and they had the punching bags. And I remember I got up early one morning, he was out in the woods jogging. So I went into the training cabin, and there were guys in the cabin that were already fighting, sparring. And this young guy got in the ring, and he was fast, he was quick. He reminded me of Ali in his prime. And before I could really look at it a long time, McHenry, I felt somebody kind of standing behind me, and I looked, and it was Ali. He'd come in from jogging. He was training for some fight. And I looked up, and I said, Champ? He said, how you doing, Sharpton? And I said, you know, this guy's good. This guy reminds me of you. And Ali said, yeah, he's fast. He's good on his feet. He can dance. I said, yeah, he may be champion one day. He said, well, Sharpton, he said, we can see him jab good and dance good. Let's see if he can take a punch. About 2 minutes later, he was flat out on his back. Champions are not those that can throw a punch. Champions are those that can take a punch and keep on fighting. When they hit you with their best shot, you fight on anyhow. If you can't take some criticism, if you can't take your feelings hurt, you need to get in something else. Your own family gonna call you crazy to fight the system. Your loved one's gonna say, why are you getting involved in that? But if somebody hadn't gotten involved, you wouldn't be at the job you at. You wouldn't be in the neighborhood you at. So you gotta make up your mind, I don't care what they say, I'm gonna do what I know is right to do. tell you, they doing a special tonight on MSNBC, 9 o'clock after a couple hours after my show, on when Joy Reid and Rachel Maddow talked about her book on Medgar Evers at the Apollo. I was there that night. And one of the things that we forget is that these people, like Medgar Evers that died, killed, for getting us the right to vote, like Dr. King, like others that were killed. These people could have lived their life and done nothing just like many of us do. It was their commitment to change that opened up doors for us. Now, I'm not asking everybody to get killed, and I'm not asking everybody to get wounded, but at least you should be grateful for the folk that did sacrifice that you benefited from. I mean, y'all watching the Impact, go to the book. 10 lepers came to Jesus, wanted to be healed. He healed them, sent them on their way. Only one came back. Is that the book? Even with Jesus, only a tenth of the ones he healed came back. Just because you fight for folk don't mean they're going to be gratified. I remember in 1990 when we stood up for the Central Park 5, there wasn't many that would stand up. There was a handful of us. NAN had just got started. We went and marched right downtown at the criminal court. The one that they got Donald Trump on trial right now. Same Center Street, where Donald Trump took out ads calling for those young men to face the death penalty. We marched anyhow. They called us names. We marched anyhow. And we fought anyhow. A few years later, when the DNA came because a young guy in jail told his cellmate that he did it, they got out of jail, all 5 of them, but one came back and is back every Saturday morning. Stand up, Carrie Weiss. Everybody ain't coming back, but fight on anyhow. Because I'm not fighting for your gratitude. I'm fighting to answer the calling God gave me. I will get my reward someday. Don't expect gratitude. Try to help folk, they get attitude. You went for them, it took too long. That's all part of it. You're not fighting for that. You fighting because you can't help but fight. You fighting because it's the right thing to fight. You fighting because somebody fought for you. I'm tired of seeing a lot of us, particularly those in the church, that go around what it is being committed to in the Word. You know, I was reading this week, Stephen Marshall, Ezekiel 3rd chapter, read that, where God talked about the wicked and that the wicked had to be confronted. He said that they have turned their back on God. But let me tell you something to the ministers watching around the country. He said something that we don't preach too much about, Bishop. He said that they that will not turn around from their wicked ways, they shall be slain. They shall die. But before you get to go to the next chapter, stop at that verse. But their blood will be on your hands. You that won't prophesy. You that won't speak truth to power. You that can watch the Frank Tysons of the world kill and won't open your mouth. You that can watch babies innocent dying in Gaza and won't open your mouth. Those that are seeing people in Haiti slayed by gangs and won't say a word about it. The blood is in your hand. I gave you a pulpit. I gave you a platform. I gave you some level of influence. I exalted you. And you reduced it to you entertaining the folks. Hollering and screaming, getting your rhythm right. Let me get organ B flat. You with me now? Let's try it a little higher. Ooh. I ain't said nothing. I ain't said nothing, just moaning. Moaning to the music. Sometimes. Whoa. And I'm saying, sometime are you going to preach? And folk out there just entertain. Old lady throw their handkerchief up at her. I'm looking for a brick to throw up there. Playing with God and playing with the people. The blood will be in your hand. But then the reverse of that is that, and I want you to hear me good. This is my real thought for this week. We are so mesmerized by those that are exalted that we never look at what God has for us. Everybody that was born for a purpose. Everybody in here was born for a purpose. God did not bring you in this world because there was nothing else to do. Everything is here to serve a function, which is why there's no reason for you to be jealous of anybody. No reason to be envious of anybody. Because they are doing what they do. But they can't do what you do. If you would ever lock down and just answer your calling, there's nobody better at being you than you. I grew up a boy preacher under Bishop F.D. Washington. 4 years old, preached my first sermon. From when I was 4 till I was about 12, I used to try to preach like Bishop Washington. Then I loved Adam Clayton Powell. Many years I tried to act like Adam. Then I joined Operation Breadbasket. It made me the youth director, New York chapter. National director was Jesse Jackson, who was twice my age at the time. And Reverend William Jones, I tried to be like them. But somewhere along the road, Stephen Marshall, I learned I couldn't be Bishop Washington. I couldn't be Jesse Jackson. I couldn't be Bill Jones. But I could be the best Al Sharpton the world ever saw. So I took lessons from all of them and submitted to God assignment for me. That's why we did things that hadn't been done, because God didn't need me to repeat what others did. God had an assignment for me to do. And God got an assignment for you. I don't care how broke you are. I don't care how uneducated you are. I don't care what kind of broken family you come from. God don't like using perfect people to do nothing. God likes to use people that nobody thought could do anything, that nobody thought was worth nothing, people that had made mistakes, people that had been down, people been to jail, people that been dirty. He likes to take dirty folks and lift them up and clean them off in front of the whole world so the world could say, only God could have done that. God takes a mess to get his message. Don't get in the way of God's miracle. I can't do this. They're going to find out about this. I can't do this. I'm going to find. No, that's what God wants. Somebody as messed up as you. Somebody that done the dirty stuff you did. So he can show I can take nothing and make something happen. All them big, sophisticated, $30 word folks, I don't need them. I need somebody that obey my will. And if you just submit to my will, I'll make your enemies your footstool. Look in the book. Gideon was just dealing with shaping the wheat. And an angel came and told him, O mighty man of valor, God has use of you. Ron and Gideon said, wait a minute, you got the wrong address. You must be the wrong place. I'm hiding out here with the Midianites. It says, God has need of you. Yeah. God knew who you was when he called you. I tell you all the time, we just had the eclipse where the moon and the sun line up for a minute, you ain't never seen them collide. You ain't never seen stars bump into the moon. You ain't never seen the sun bump into a planet. So if God made all the world in perfect precision to where we could measure days and measure hours, why do you think God got to you and made his first mistake? You are not a mistake. You are mistaken why you here. You ain't here to just fit in to get in. You here to stand up and let God use you in the way he will use you, no matter who don't like it. That's why I always honor my mother. My little boy start preaching. Some of the relatives would say, hey, to make that boy shut up. That boy, a little boy, he's going to kindergarten. And my mother said, I can't tell him to shut up. He said he called to preach. I thought about many years, if my mother had shut me up, I don't know what that would have done. And that's the problem some of you got, is you let others shut you up. When we had a disagreement in the Brooklyn Slave Theater and decided to come to Harlem, started National Action Network, I had no idea that we could really build an organization all over the country. But I just did what I was called to do. And I'm talking to somebody this morning. You keep fighting with yourself. You need to surrender and let God use you at the place you're at. It don't matter what you don't have. Whatever you don't have, God will provide. Whatever you have. Whatever you don't have. We just came up to Harlem, started NAN, we didn't have $200. We had about 178 and 120 of them was hardest. But now we've been able to raise and keep on raising. Because all God challenges you to do is stand up. He ain't even telling you to hold yourself up, just stand up. If you stand up, I'll hold you up. If you make one step, I'll make two. If you have the faith, God has the power. get you down, stand up anyhow. Angel wrestled with Gideon. Gideon still didn't believe. Gideon gonna test God. He said, I tell you what, I'm gonna lay out a fleece, wool fleece. I'm gonna put it on the floor, put it on the ground, and I'm going to sleep. When I wake up, if the fleece is wet and the ground around it is dry, I know only God could control the rain, and pivot right to that location. He went to sleep, woke up, picked up the fleece and could wring it. It was wet, water coming out. Ground around it dry. Then he did the reverse. Some of y'all going through the fleece test, trying to ask God, show me a sign. And every sign you looking for, God done already showed you. You need to quit looking for signs and get on up and do what you was born to do. I didn't graduate seminary like a lot of my contemporaries, but God gave me experiences they didn't have. I didn't understand it then, but I understand it now. Why was I always working with victims when I could be quoting Toynbee and Hegel and Paul Tillich? God didn't need another Tillich quota. Ain't nothing wrong with that, but that wasn't my calling. God needed somebody to go to Howard Beach with Mrs. Griffith, go to Bensonhurst with Yusuf Hawkins' family, check in Staten Island with Gwen Carr about Eric. That wasn't elevated enough for some of you, but God said, if you go for the least of them, I'll lift you up if you lift me up. I know it don't look good. I know they're going to write about you in the paper, but lift me up. If I be lifted up, I'll draw all men onto you. Well, you know, God, what we doing don't make sense. I don't need to make y'all's kind of sense. And I'm telling you that we're living at a time that the things that our fathers and mothers fought for are being erased. They're taking away voting rights. They're taking away affirmative action. They're taking away DEA. Maybe we've come for such a time as this. Because the proper Negroes don't know how to fight. It's going to take some warriors, some street fighters, some I don't care fighters, some that'll put it all on the line fighters. If I be lifted up, I'll draw. I'll draw. Don't worry about a press agent. I'll draw all men unto you. I went back after, and I'm going to let you go after I got Gideon's message. I went back and wondered if David had anything to say. David said, you know, Al, what to say. You grew up learning the verse. Well, let just go slow. Sometimes we say things so quick, we never stop thinking of the meaning. You know, we learn things as kids, certain scriptures. One scripture they taught me, I've quoted for years, but it was years before I stopped and thought about that. The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. Why did I lie down? He restoreth my soul, which means my soul must have needed some restoring. Just go through that whole 23rd Psalm. But I like at the end, this is where I thought about it. I went leading the march, Bishop, one Saturday in Bensonhurst, where they'd killed Yusuf Hawkins. And Yusuf Hawkins had been a 16-year-old black boy that had gone out and got off the wrong stop of the subway, was in Bensonhurst. They said they didn't allow no blacks there. Thought he was trying to date a white girl and killed him. And we went and marched every week, every Saturday, like we marching on DEI. And this particular Saturday, a white guy ran through the police enclave, stuck a knife in my chest, rushed me to Coney Island Hospital. As I laid there, I didn't know how deep the wound was. I didn't know if he hit a lung. I didn't know what would happen. I laid there and the doctor said, we go rush him in the x-rays. Rushed me in to the whatever it was. When I woke up, I had an oxygen mask on, intravenous in my arms. I couldn't make out nothing. I was trying to figure out what happened, and I started remembering I got hit with something. I'm in the hospital at the Wildcat that came, but they wouldn't let nobody in. But then two strangers walked in the room. I wondered how they got in the room. They said I couldn't have no visitors. But Gwen, one got on my right side of the bed, and the other got on the left side of my bed. And I said, who are y'all? What are y'all doing here? I'm not supposed to have visitors. I got this oxygen on. I don't even know how deep the wound was. And one said, just relax, Al. We've been with you all your life. Your mama sent for us. Your bishop sent for us. We've been with you when you didn't know we was there. We were there when your daddy left. And y'all had to make it on food stamps, but we made sure you never missed a meal. We was there when you spent nights in jail. And nobody cared about you. We cared about you. And after they ran down their resume, I said, well, wait a minute, I at least need to know your name. The one on the right said, my name is Goodness. The other one on the left said, my name is Mercy. And goodness and mercy shall follow you all the days of your life. I'm not worried about nothing. I'm not worried about nobody. I don't care what they say on Fox News. Goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life. That's why I like Donnie's song, what do you do when you've done all you can? Seems like it's never enough. Fight for people is never enough. Stand for people is never enough. What do you do when you've done all you can? Seems like it's never enough. Just stand. Even if you don't know which way to go, stand up anyhow. Even if your heart is broken and your feelings are hurt, stand up anyhow.
Tell me, what do you do when you've done all you can? Seems like it's never enough. And what do you say when your friends turn away and you're all alone, all alone? Tell me, what do you get when you're giving your all and seems like you can't make it through? You
singing. Everybody's 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 singing. One more time, y'all. One more time, y'all. One more time, y'all. Everybody now. Everybody sing. Everybody singing. I'm opening the doors of the movement. There may be someone here today, hears us on the radio, sees our activities on television, but never joined National Action Network. If you're here today, all you have to do is come right down to me and let us sign you up this morning, right now, to the National Action Network. Just come on to me. Everybody's singing. Come on. Everybody's singing. 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 One more time, y'all. One more time, y'all. One more time, y'all. All right. Now, I want folk to know when you're talking to me, when we singing, I can't hear what you're saying with the music and me singing. But I want to know what you're saying. That's why we have people here on staff, so you can talk to them, explain to them what it is you need, and we'll handle it the best of our ability. So I'm not ignoring you, I just can't hear you. And that's why we hired staff to try to handle it. If I had to handle every case we had, I'd never get to your case. That's why I got folk on staff, paid, to bring us the information and do what we can, because that's what we're here for. And I know everybody won't give me attention, but I'm telling you, I can't handle everything, but I have staff. And I'll stay on them to try to handle what we can. We can't handle everything, but we can handle what we can handle. All right, let's raise our offering, moving quickly. Moving quickly. We're going to raise our offering, take in the new members, and let you go. I say 9 to 11. We're out 3 minutes after 11, so we'll be out in 5 minutes. I need about 10 people that give $100 or more. Come quickly. Membership committee is giving $400. God